I was really interested and curious about your passion for furniture, for creativity, for creating things around that. But also you keep doing things not only around furniture. You keep experimenting. Maybe what was the project?
Designed a cabinet. I call it the ChairCase. And what it makes, I don't know, every piece is, of course, is unique, but is that it has 2 chairs in the cabinet. And the name comes from bookcase. And instead of, you can still put books in it as well. Of course, it's storage and also storage for 2 chairs. It's 3 layers of pine multiplex.
How would you describe philosophy of your furniture?
I think we're in a time where sustainability is important. It's, I guess I wouldn't say for designers back in the days, I don't know, 70s industrial design. Back then it was way like, oh, let's take this material, put it together, it looks nice. This is like really like over making it too extreme maybe, but you didn't have to thought about, oh, where's the material from, where is it made? And these days everything needs to be recycled, sustainable, but sometimes you get a recycled material that is not as high quality. So you have the issue that it's maybe only lasts 10 years and it breaks down because it's not the material itself. And I try to at least, I'm not officially giving my product, the product I making, okay, let's give a 10-year warranty on it. But I try to, or at least design it that way that it could potentially go 50 years, like you have 3 generations that could use this. What if Europe, I don't know, you would say give everything 10-year warranty on everything, then the manufacturer would rethink the whole thing. Okay, it's gonna be way more expensive, of course, but then his responsibility is to make it that it lasts at least 10 years. And if it's lasting 10 years, it can probably last 20 years. And then you have a whole different economy that will work, that you just resell. And we in the Netherlands also we really known to reselling almost everything on Marktplaats. Especially compared to other countries, it sounds like, oh, you're cheap, whatever, but we really like that, and that's nice, and that's a new big movement. But if you have products that are not lasting that long, then they're not sellable. And that's also what I try to look at, like my product. Okay, that's not the cheap, it's handmade and almost custom, for example, that cabinet. But what if you buy like it's a piece of, yes, you have that with design furniture, of course, that keep their value. But we have so much cheap stuff that we compare to that from IKEA stuff. It's some stuff that's well built and it can last actually way longer than you expect. But the big part of it is just not really sustainable. So there's the one way that lasts long, and on the other hand, it's also that you do more with less. I really love the phrase "less is more," and I also implement it in different ways with food, with sleep is maybe another topic, but I feel way more joy in less, right? So because you get more freedom in other fulfillment in other sectors in that. So, and once you realize that, also with getting back to the furniture, I implement 2 things in one, and it shows to be, of course, in small living spaces, that will be the most handy and practical way. It's not also a frustration of with furniture that's really not practical, and I really want to be practical, but also it has to look nice.
Nice. With the whole Black Friday, the craze of buy, and then I went to the store and I was like, whoa, okay, I want to leave. I don't want to be in this mess. And then we live in an age of such an abundance and actually over the top that some deficit in life gives space and gives you opportunity to live. Do you actually see yourself stuck in taking action?
I think the first step for me is that being aware of being stuck, aware. And I'm starting more and more like, oh, I'm stuck here, or oh, I feel a resistance, and be aware of that resistance first before oh, I need to go action and do this, and then almost push away the resistance. But then 1 week later, you're back at the beginning because you didn't took time to see, oh, what's the real resistance, and then go a bit further and further, but not like, I mean, sometimes it's good to fall in the deep and then see where it goes, but sometimes you just fall back right where you started.
How was with Dutch Design Week? But you have an exhibition, you don't know the whole process, but getting there, it's a whole journey.
I signed up, in time, in June, I think. And for me, it was really like, or I keep going how I'm going, or I would just go, what's my intention, where I want to go. And I have to put myself out there. I do feel I have a hard time to sell myself in a way. It sounds weird, but like to sell my product feels like I have to sell myself, and just go with this, even though it's money, I have to spend for, and see where it goes. And I'm really happy that I did it. And it's not my first time going there, but for the first time, it's the intention. Okay, I have a product that is sellable, and I have, on request, I can remake this. And before I was from school, it was a graduation project, and was like, and I do feel a change in that. But still, I was there, and I had a lot of nice conversation with people who were there. And I could talk hours about my project. But then, once the part about money, like, oh, how much is it? And I was like, dude, my throat was like, ugh. So it was really interesting I was like, fuck, this is really like this specific point I can talk about, and I'm really interested. But then about money, I have to tell me, oh, this is work, and all this work went in here and there. I have to really like tell them, like convince them, like this is not, I'm not making this number up. This is what it costs. But it's really hard to say that to people.
When people say, so Ramon, I really like this piece. It's actually a very smart design and quite unique. What will be the price?
Yeah, I got really stuck and couldn't, had a hard time to tell the number. I was almost ashamed of the question, the price I asked for it.
And what is the price?
The price, yeah, good one. I always felt like you're gonna ask that, I think. To be honest, I didn't forgot, but there are two models, like a big one and a small version. But the big one is 3,800, and the small one is 2,700.
How does it feel to say it?
Yeah, almost like, ooh, who's gonna read? Who's gonna listen to this? Now I said it, and yeah, but it's still, I still struggle with it to say it out loud in a way.
And what why do you have idea?
Why?
Yeah, why?
What I'm still working on is not good enough, and I think that's one thing. If it's about me and talking about my project, I can. But if it's about, then I have to ask money for that. That's feels like, oh, it's not good enough. I'm not good enough to ask that. So I guess that's in a nutshell why I'm struggling to sell it in a way, convincing. If it would be in another one's project, someone else's, then I feel no struggle there.
I was in a tourist shop, but it was quite nice that they were handmade products mainly. And there was a clay cup that I felt really connected. I'm like, oh, I really like it. It's a good memory. But then the price was 35 euros. I mean, not 3,800, but I'm like, oh, I don't really need the cup for 35 euros. And recently I spoke to Sasha, who is doing clay workshops and
really
every week, and she said how long and how time consuming is the process, that you need to be very present, and first week you do that, and it stays for a few weeks, and then you have shaping, and then you put it in the oven, and then you paint it. I'm like, oh, if I knew that, I would actually happily pay 35 euros. It's interesting that from the outside perspective, I was counting euros. Well, actually, once I know the effort and the talent put in, I'm like, easy. You have a product, it's on Dutch Design Week. You were admitted. It's been seen by people, they're coming by. But then you still don't believe. And you know all the effort that was put in.
Mm-hmm. I do also start trying to... I mean, I can be really perfectionistic. Perfectionist.
Perfectionist?
But listening to these podcasts and books, whatever, that's also a really big downfall. It can be a really big downfall for especially people who are already in that they hold themselves back. And I do realize that I have that many projects in my head, on sketches of it, or like, and holding them back because also maybe time, but also because it's not ready yet. It's still like in development, and some stuff needs time to put it back in 1 year and check it again, and then we look at it if it's nice. But just saying this is good enough, or this is actually like this is. There is no perfection, right? And also letting that go, that idea of what is perfection. For me, for example, if people say, "Oh, this is so nice," and I'm like, "Yeah, I did this on a Sunday afternoon," right? Like in general, that's my first thought coming up. I had this really nice story. I will shorten it and make it really short, but that's also one thing. Taking compliments is one way. Also, I have a hard time starting more open up or to like taking in. It's like two different. Like you can laugh it away. Oh yeah, thank you. And a good friend of mine, we were at cinema and we were going home. We had a motorcycle, and we had the helmet, whatever. We took the helmets, and the guy from the cashier said like, "Have a good drive home safe." And the first thing I said was like, "Yeah, it's only 5 minutes," and it was like 5 minutes. And then she reminded me later when we got out. She's like, he meant it like you. I noticed you didn't took it in. You laughed it away. Like, oh no, it's fine, right? It's just does nothing. It's 5 minutes. And I realized, wow, he really meant it from the heart, right? In a way, like really friendly way. And I start more and more, also with work, people give me compliments, like, "Oh, I really like your work," or like that. And then the first one is like being like, feels like a wall, because maybe from the past I got hurt because people not said compliments, but said awful things, whatever. And that's a specific boundary I build up from that protection. But that wall is also up when someone says something nice. But it's really weird and I am starting to be more open to that, and then I really feel, oh, that's a gentle nice comment. Whatever.
I had a pile of video projects. I knew the material is awesome. I know the location is mind-blowing, like the story is super cool, but then I didn't allow myself time, and my perfectionist was speaking in my head like, okay, you want to make it on that level because the material is so cool, you don't have time, so don't start. And then I had them piled up for months. Like now I actually, let's do 1 hour every day, and then put the perfectionist aside and call him when the draft is ready and ask how it is. You said that you have a lot of projects and ideas around furniture, but I also know otherwise. How do you start and how do you finish?
That's interesting. I have all these projects like tabs on your browser that are all open, but you never find the time to actually check the tabs if you still need them and close them, and then they're gone and it's fine. And if you need them, you just Google it again or whatever, save it somewhere else, that they're like clean, like a clean sheet to work on. And that made me also realize, maybe I have to make that more clean in that way. Like, okay, these projects are for later, and then let them go for now. So I have 3 main projects to focus on. And getting back to the question, starting off with a project that feels nice personally, and start sketching, going to the computer, make it a render. But literally making it, that's not always... I should do that, and then often over weeks time, imagining, okay, this could look like that, and then a couple of weeks later, I should skip that. And finishing it, that would be an example. This ChairCase exposition at Dutch Time Week, that was something. Okay, I'm really now push myself to make this one product, focus on that I have something to show for, in a way of, okay, if someone asks who's interested, this is the price, even though it's hard to say, no. And I can literally, the order, I can make this for you. And the other projects are still like in development and not ready. And I guess a product is never ready. I mean, but of course, it's good to say the ChairCase for me is like this chapter not closed, because many people ask. You saw the picture. Many people like, where's the table and where's our bar stools, for example. And it made me think, okay, I can implement other stuff in it. So that's a thing I maybe want to also look into. And then maybe also work with color, because many people ask like, we can different color. So that's my focus on that project.
Okay, but then that wardrobe, it took you hundreds of hours. How long?
No, I mean, I think it came up almost 2 years ago at sketching 2 things, or like a cabinet and then chairs and in one, and that developed, and I made a prototype, and it was almost a year that I did nothing much about it. And then this fair came up, and I felt like, okay, this is something I really feel interested and motivated to go and do this. And then I pushed it to go finish it.
And then what's your recipe on a daily basis? You have work, you have life to tend to, and then you have those side projects which is not part of your like paid work. How do you push it forward? How do you keep moving?
A good question. I do feel, even though it's my profession in a way of woodworking and then product design, most of it is at the moment still woodworking or like industry-wise for other companies, working for them. But I would like to do more. And then again, like I said, I would, right? That's also like always a thing that's tricky to say I would. But I started reading this book. I don't know how well your Dutch is at the moment reading.
Ik heb 1 boek gelezen.
Okay, I can really recommend. It's really easy. It's not deep, like in like really hard words. I forgot her name. She's known for her podcast apparently. Now she made a book, or I don't know, one of the books. It's called the Formule.
Formule, okay. And
it's a manifesting book in a way. And I read once before, in general, you're manifesting, creating what you want, like you setting your things. But and I'm not a big reader either, and it's not thick, it's like 200 pages. But I've never, and manifesting and going into spiritual, many of those books can be really like, especially when you begin, like can be really like, ooh, it's dreamy, I don't get it. And this one's really to the point, and also linked to science for many people who are not like more science-based or like want to have proof. It's also really nice because it's really science-based on wavelengths and how that interacts with your environment. So if you're in specific wavelength, that's literally, you can measure that now with science. So if you're happy, you attract happiness, and if you're down and you, like for example me, like you're not good enough, if that's your wavelength where you're in, not all the time, but generally unconsciously, you attract people who think you're not good enough, so you never, you stay in that one. And to get to the point, but I can really recommend. It's not thick. It has 7 steps, I think, or 5. And one of the first one, and I'm starting that to implement that more and more. If I set a goal for something, even if it's something small to finish something today, or something bigger, project is the intention is step one of, I think, the first step. And then she goes to go set that intention, and then the second step. I realizing myself now, doing the intention, like, okay, for this 1 hour I want to finish this up, and I set the intention. And maybe you don't make it in 1 hour, but 1 hour and 10 minutes, and you're like surprised, because at first you would never think that would have happened, or you would have made that done. And what the intention also makes it everything easier along the way, because the attention sets already that wavelength, if I can say it like that. And then everything, the rest comes by itself. What you said about the girl on the train, you set your intention, I want to do this, and then how, in one way, how more clear you are what you want, but also keep it open what could happen. That's the perfect combination.
For me, the setting intention works. The desire to do things works. There are a lot of things I want to do. I tend to overplan and underestimate the time it takes me. And then once I'm in the flow, I don't stop within the frame I gave to the task. For example, I was video editing yesterday. I still have a deadline end of today. And I wanted to spend only 1 hour and a half yesterday because I had other things to do. But then I was so close to the finish line that, okay, I'm going to push. And then I spent 3 hours yesterday. I was wasted, I was tired, the product was there, but like the bounce was off. And then I didn't do 2 other things I wanted.
It's a process of starting to do this, but also letting go that you always need to finish that. It feels like, oh, if I put all these intentions down, and then the next day or the evening or whatever, later in the day, you're like, oh fuck, I didn't make half of them. And really that's okay, right? That's another day for that. If I'm starting doubting, then it's so way harder to finish something or even keep going. And that makes me really realize more, like, okay, where do I set my intentions? And one intention at a time, or like maybe 2 or 3, but like, and then I set the next step. I'm not like thinking, 3 steps ahead, fuck, I need to go there to get there. But then I really like this phrase, let's cross the bridge when we're there. And it makes me also more calm in ways like, fuck, this is so big route, I don't see anything. And let's just focus on step by step.
Yeah, I like it.
Also that I can doubt a lot. I mean, doubt is healthy in a way that you, okay, only let's say that tells yourself, okay, let's rethink about this. Really good example. This is one guy. It's also was a podcast about manifesting, but this guy, he's so fast with setting, like making stuff, doing stuff, project, finishing, going back, forth, that and then he got asked, what's your secret? How do you find time to do all this stuff? And he said, at some point I realized I stopped choosing. He trusted the universe and the bigger, that he would just go. If that's way quicker than waiting until you finally choose one of the 2 options, one of the 3 options. Just go with the flow. And because he's so in the flow, so it's almost, he's constantly in the flow. And it made me realize, if I think about, like later today, think about how often you, even at small things, I have to choose this or choose this. And that takes so much energy and time of your whole day, and making you even doubt on bigger things. I mean, sometimes bigger decisions should maybe sleep a day over, and that's also your type, how your gut feeling. Like made me like, wow, that was a big eye opener. Like, wow, if you imagine one day try to make no A or B, just go with A or B, but no, make that constantly a doubting moment, just go.
Flow like a river.
Yeah.
Cool.
So I guess that's
nice. All right.